So, Will, for the audience members that may not know you, would you
Yeah.
just give us like a quick intro?
Yeah. So I've been a barber for 19 years. I built three barber shops and then decided to open up my own barber academy, which we're hit 3 years on February 1st. I've been an author, wrote my first book, it's done very well. I think we're closing in on our first 1,000 copies. And I'm just
Nice.
a man committed to personal development, leadership, committed father, husband, and I just try to lead people the right way to the best of my ability. And I just want to see people grow, develop, and fulfill their fullest potential.
Nice. Love that. Love that. Well, we talked beforehand, and I've been
Yeah.
noticing your content and your content. You're talking a lot about like what it takes to be successful, and I like how you talk a lot about how there's a lot of like ideas that are going around
Yeah.
about like narratives and stuff and advice that people are getting that maybe is missing some information or some of the steps. And
Yeah.
so I'm excited to have this conversation with you today.
Yeah. I think that's a very good assessment, man. I just think, being 19 years in, going on 20 years, I've seen a lot. I've done a lot. I've seen trends come and go. And there are a couple key things I think that people just miss because social media makes everything look great. And in order to succeed, I think long term, you have to be willing to go through the process and the work that it actually takes to get that stuff done. And it takes work. And I just want to remind people that, you're not losing. It just, you haven't worked long enough yet.
Right, right. All right. Well, I have some questions I had sent you,
Mhm.
so I'm going to be using my questions today while we walk through this. I
Okay.
find it like a best practice for me to stay organized. So, for people who may not know you yet, how do
Yeah.
you describe what you do and who you do it for? I know you kind of already gave us some of that information.
Yeah. So what I do is I help barbers build careers. So my
Okay.
vision at my school is to ultimately lay a foundational system for success for entry level barbers to learn, develop, enter into ownership, and retire financially free. So that's what I do in a nutshell. Is I just take beginner barbers, help them develop not just the technical skills, the people skills, right? I help them grow and actually develop the mindset that it takes to be a flourishing entrepreneur with a servant leadership type of mentality. And then I help them not only get good at cutting skills and get their license, go on and build businesses and help other people do the same thing so they can ultimately know what to do as far as financially so they can grow their revenue while they grow their clientele and get themselves to a point where they can become financially free. Because I ultimately think that's where people truly can make a difference in the world when they get the money monster out the way. I think so many people in our industry, because of lack of financial intelligence, lack of know-how, lack of leadership in our industry, everybody's just winging it. And I think what that causes is a bunch of individualism and, just people trying to compete against each other when we could just be helping each other and all of us grow long term. And then I help them, on what to do with their money and their resources. So they see that once a person sees the process, then they know all it takes is some discipline for a certain level of years and some consistency to have that compound effect kind of take over in their life. And I think once they get there, they can truly serve and live out their dreams and goals and not have to be bounded by lack of resource.
Nice. I love that. So what is your book on this on in this realm? I'm
Yeah,
assuming, or is
so
it?
so basically my book is called What's in Your Hand, and
Okay.
it's basically my life story as an entrepreneur, things that I thought worked well, things I realized I didn't work well, and things that I had to do character-wise to change the way I viewed things, the way I did things, the way I handled a lot of relationships that helped me ultimately grow. And what I try to get across throughout the entire book is you already have what you need in your hand, right? For me, it was a pair of clippers my grandmother bought me at 15 years old, and so I had to learn how to clean up if I was going to go to the store with her. And every time I thought I needed something else, I didn't. I already had it. That all of my problems that I was facing were internal, not external. And when I fixed me, every time it allowed me to grow to another level, right? There were people who probably did things to me that I felt like were wrong. But when I grew and matured, I realized I put myself in that predicament. I chose that person for that position. They didn't let me down. I let myself down time and time again. And once I figured out what I was doing wrong and then started to do those things correctly, that's when everything changed for me and I was able to build things the right way.
Nice, nice. I love that. So, what is your, I know I'm very curious to know. You're talking about financial, like helping
Mm-hmm.
people like figure out the money stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell me a little bit about like, how do you do that? Like, what is like, how did you develop or design, or how do you think about
Mm-hmm.
that space? Because I feel like that's a huge space. I feel like we're one of
Yeah.
the a big like underserved, represented population in the world of like financial services and financial literacy.
Yeah. So what I do, just to keep it simple, right? Because finance can go all over the place. But
Yeah.
what I have all of my barber students do is when I go into finance, because there's always an additional training that we have to do, and money's important, right? So people that act like money's not important, we need it for everyday life. It's got to be important. We got to start there. So what I do is I take them and I say, okay, y'all, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna talk finance. There's three basic accounts that you need as just a human being, as an adult. Number one, you need a high yield savings account, right? And the platform I usually use is Vanguard. But you need a high yield savings account. This is where you can just put your money for emergencies and it grows at 3%. If inflation's at 3%, at least you're not going backwards. If you save it in a regular bank account, your money is losing its spending power, right? So get you a high yield savings. Don't go get these regular bank accounts. Get you a high yield savings. That's number one, right? You save for a rainy day, right? You have some snow days, cold times, slow weeks, something go wrong with your car. You need emergency money because it will rain at the most inopportune time, right? So that's number one. We got to play defense a little bit. The second thing you're going to need is a retirement account. Once you start making money, you need to put money away in your retirement account. I'm talking to 19-year-olds. Nobody's ever told them that. I didn't even start doing that until 30, right? Because they just didn't
Totally.
know what I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
So I make sure that they do that. We get them a Roth IRA account. As long as you're a tax-paying individual, you can contribute up to $7,500 a year now. It's $140 a week. Put as much as you can in it. If it's one haircut and you charge 35, $40 for a haircut, do one once a week, right? So you do that. And then we have an additional brokerage account, right? Where this is where you can invest in companies that you know and love and use every single day and have them grow your money for you while you're working. So I tell all my guys, I'm like, we need one haircut in each account, right? So if you charge $40, your first three haircuts, one plays defense, one plays offense, and one guarantees your retirement so you ain't stuck behind a chair for 50 years.
I love that. That's so good.
It's so simple. And then they
So
say, okay,
simple. Yeah,
well,
exactly.
they're like, so what do I do as far as index funds or ETFs, right? Because I'm like, we don't buy single stocks because they go up and down. We want something we
Right.
can set and forget and just grow our clientele and grow our revenue, right? Yeah, I don't care if you put $20 in each one every single week, whatever it is. It could be $10. Because once you start it and you see it work, you'll increase it over time. Because all you need is proof of concept. So I give them that, and then the ETFs, I pull up my stock portfolio account and I sit right there with them and say, look, this is where I got my money in. And they're like,
Nice.
wow, okay. And I'm like, here's how it works. Because at the end of the day, I want to be authentic and transparent with you. You're in here at the school. I show you what I do. This is what I do recurring every single week. This is how it's been like this. This is where it was 5 years ago. This is where it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever the case may be. So they see that the discipline is there. It started small. It's grew to this. You can do it too. And all
And do
I'm trying
you
to teach anybody is a simple formula that you can do too. The earlier and sooner you get it, the better it is.
totally? And so do you find that this, do you take the similar approach in terms of like career and entrepreneurial advice in terms of like, try to make things like, I mean, because basically like what you described, I feel like is building a career, it's like
Hmm.
you gotta like build it and it takes a little while, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh snap.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in simplicity is genius. People make things complicated, right? People, because of the way we try to be so deep with stuff, we make things harder than they actually are. We make cutting hair harder than it actually is. We make building clientele harder than it actually is. Content creation, we make it harder than it actually is because a lot of times we're running from something. We're just trying to do things like we think like it's some secret sauce that we're missing. And what that is just consistency. I tell all my students, I'm like, you want to be great? Be good for a very long time. That'll make
Yeah,
you great. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? People will call
yeah,
you great. If you're just good for a very long time, they'll call you great. And what I try to tell them is if you focus on the simple things, it will make you look like a genius. I tell people all the time, like, they're like, well, Stan, I want to learn how to fade. I'm like, okay, cool. We got to space it out. You want to learn how to cut straight hair? Okay, cool. It's all about sectioning. And I'm like, just do that right now. And get on this mannequin, let's section hair. We doing 4, 5, 9 sections. We doing verticals, we doing square, box graduate, whatever you want to do. Cutting the top, profile section, this, that, whatever you want to do. I need you to just do it even when you don't want to. Right? I got a lot of young guys. I talk to them about athletes all the time. I'm like, go shoot the 1,000 free throws. You know what I'm saying? That Steph Curry doesn't tell you that he shoots every day, but that's why he can make those shots in his sleep. I'm
right.
like, that's what it's about. So anything we can do that is simplified, we just have to rep it over and over and over again. And that's how you become great. People want to be great right away, and it's just not a real thing. It's just not a real thing.
No, this is good. Awesome, man. This is so good. I was talking to a client not that long ago, and she was talking about her son and
Yeah.
how he was like an athlete, and he
Yeah.
was like just had all this natural talent, but the younger brother had to like bust his butt to be good. And she was saying how she's worried that the older son is gonna have a rude awakening when he gets to like college or something because he doesn't have to like really work that hard and try that hard. But the other son who has to work really hard, well, that kid is turns out now this is like years ago. Now years later, the younger brother is killing it. He's like so good at the sport that he plays. And his brother doesn't play the sport, but he did get to college, but he didn't like continue on into
Right.
it. So like to your point. Okay, so let's go straight into short conversation. Reality, discipline, and responsibility. When
Yeah.
people talk about making it in this industry, what are they usually overlooking?
How much being in a growth environment helps them. I think in today's times, everybody wants to be the boss, right?
Yeah,
Everybody wants
totally.
to be the number one. But if you can get under quality leadership, it will take you much further than you can go by yourself. I think
Absolutely.
people over one. I was going to make a video about the power of number two.
Okay.
Everybody wants the number one seat, but the number two seat is so valuable, we skip right over it. But it's the best thing to prepare you to be a number one is learning how to be a number two. So I think a lot of times when people everybody wants to be the number one, they want to be their own boss. It's like, yo, if you can just go get next to the man, you'll become the man by default.
Totally.
Because if he's really the man, he's gonna want you to become the man and he'll give you everything he's got. So I just
Absolutely.
think real growth happens through like duplication. It happens
Absolutely.
through duplication. Like if you're gonna be a top tier leader, you have to develop other leaders.
I was literally
Right.
about to say we should definitely talk about leadership. Because because I think like without leadership, and I don't know about you, but like I feel like the world could use like incubation and focus on leadership, and our industry isn't any different.
Yeah. I think it's one of the biggest challenges for our industry. right? Because we have such competitive culture. Everything's a barber battle. I'm better than you, this and this and that. But it's like leadership is about developing others. That's what leadership is. It's like it's leadership is influence, but it's at the end of the day, it's about serving other people. That's what entrepreneurship was designed for. Rafe turned entrepreneurship into a solo show. That's not what it was designed for. It was
Totally.
designed to serve other people, which is what a leader does, right? So it's like I tell people before you want to own your own business, just make sure you're signing up for the sacrifice it takes to be the one to eat last and everybody else has to eat before you.
Yeah, so that I think that part right there is a great. Another great point to talk about is like how what do you like when you're thinking about like communicating with other folks? Do you take into consideration um, like do you talk to like the realities of the influence, or do you try to like not like kind of like okay, let me just I think it's important I put a context out there. I have this thesis that we are large consumers, at least people who are large consumers of short form video and utilize social media and generate like generate like people that they follow and they really get attracted to, and they hear more of the conversation that they are get excited about, which it tends to be in my experience that it's always business owners that are out there, whether it's a solo business owner or a business owner that runs like a space where they have employees. And what we're missing in this conversation online is other successful employees talking about what the benefits are of working under somebody else. Because like I know that personally, like if I'm working for somebody and I have like minimal burden of the business, then I can go off and pursue things like education and podcasting and hosting events. But like, you know, if I had to run a salon all by myself and I had a team to manage and all this stuff, like would I be able to do all that? And so I think that we're lacking in general is advice on how to be anything other than
And yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and I think that's very key. I'm gonna do an interview with my guy, my top guy at my school. Right? He's like I call him like the GM. He's an educator at my school. He's really good. He's very detailed. He's tremendously valuable to me, but he feels the same way about me because he says I've never met nobody like you, and I've never been under a leader like this. He was like, I'm getting more from being under you than I did when I owned my own shop. You know what I'm saying? I
That's
did when
good.
I was even in the military. He was like, because of your leadership, he's like, you're teaching me so much without even saying anything. And he was like, I love being a number two as long as you're the number one because he was like, there's so much room for me to grow here. He was like, and I get to see it from you every day. You know what I'm saying? As far as like how you teach in the classroom, how you operate as a business, right? I've given him multiple raises in 2 years, right? Just because I'm like, you're incredibly valuable to me. Let me find ways to give you more money, right? And he's always trying to find ways to produce. And it's not that he wants a bribe or anything, but it's like I understand his value. And I try to value everybody on my team by just constantly trying to pour into them, help them grow. And I think once you, and this is where I tell people, like, this is where the leadership changes. I talk to people all the time, like, I want to own my own shop one day. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because I want people working for me. It's the biggest lie there is. Because when you become an entrepreneur, you become the shop owner or the school owner or whatever type of owner, you work for everybody else. And you have to bear the burden. I use the Facebook analogy a lot, where I'm like, Mark Zuckerberg is the face of Facebook, but he's not the only billionaire part of the Facebook operation.
Right.
If you ask me, the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys have the best life
Yeah.
because they
They
don't
don't
face
deal
the
with it.
criticism and they're billionaires anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's like that's how it can be in quality barbershops. Like somebody takes all of the risk away from you and you're profitable. I was about a week and a half ago, I was back home visiting with some of my friends and family. And I was talking to I was talking to my childhood best friend. And I'm talking to him and he's asking me about stuff and I'm sharing. He's like, dude, I'm so proud of you. And he was like, and I was like, man, he told me about him and the family and stuff and the kids. And I was like, that's so dope. And he said, yo, man, he said, I love that you're a number one and you love that. He said, but I love what I do at my company. He's like, I make well over 6 figures and I don't have to deal with the shit you have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, you know, he's like, you tell me there's times where you work 24/7. And I know you do because I see all the stuff you do. He said, when I get off at 5 o'clock, I go home and spend time with my family. He said, my phone, I don't have to answer that past 5.
That part right there.
You have to deal with yours all day. Like, I got students calling me. I got barbers calling me. I got my wife and kids. I got everybody. So it's like, I'm never really, it's like, yes, I have moments where life is luxurious. But I also have moments where it's like, oh my God, can they do anything by themselves? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, I don't have to deal with that, man. And he does very well for him and his family and stuff. So he was just like, yo, man, he's like, and I was like, I'm so happy that you say that. Because most people think if they're not number one, they're not none.
Right.
And that's just so far from the truth. So far from the truth.
Right. So I have one thing. We have a question from the audience, but and
Okay.
real quick, I just want to throw something out there. I know I have a friend who worked, let's say, over a 20-year work span. He didn't work. He never owned his own business. He was an employee. I think for the first 10 years, he made between 50 and 60,000. The second 10 years, he made just over 100,000, and he hit $1 million. He became a millionaire before he was 40. And you know why? It's because he was putting all his money in index funds, and the index fund was investing in those companies. And guess what? There are people working for you. Like the way I see it is when I invest my money into a business, all the people that work in that business, including the CEO, is working for me because I'm the shareholder. And so therefore my money can grow without the headache.
Yep. I'll share this with you. Right? I didn't learn about that till I was 30. I already had 3 shops at that time. If I could do it over again, I would have been a barber at a shop making 6 figures and investing, maxing out a Roth IRA at 20 years old to 40. And I'd probably be in a better position than I am right now. Although it's great, don't get me wrong, right? I would have just did it early because the power of compounding you can't beat.
No, you can't.
That's why I teach all of my students. I'm like, this is what you're going to do here. Like, yes, I'm going to teach you how to cut hair. I'm going to teach you how to do all hair textures. We do 150 clients a week on average. We did 64 yesterday, our first day back.
Nice.
Right, at barber school. And there's people who go to barber school who do 10 haircuts a week. As a school, we do 150. And I just tell them, I'm like, man, your tip money you can put up. Do whatever you got to do to start the habit. So I make sure everybody who graduates from my school starts with those 3 accounts. I don't care if they put $10 in every Tuesday. I don't care. I need to keep this thing for you, start it for you, show you what ETFs and index funds are about. All my stuff is index funds, and it's just autopilot. It comes out every Tuesday. I don't care. You know what I mean? I just look up like, oh, that's good. All right, cool. Keep going. And I'm like, I'm 39. I'm going to keep on going till I'm, 45, 50. I don't have to work if I don't want to, but I'm young, healthy, and I enjoy what I do. And I think that's a part for people too. Like successful people, here's the play. It's doing what you love to do at a pace you're comfortable with. I hate this narrative where everybody's like, you got to get out your comfort zone, nothing grows there. That is true to a certain degree, but like anything, extremism is bad. I want you to challenge yourself, yes, and get a little uncomfortable, but I want you to do it at a pace you are comfortable at. So it's kind of like half and half, right? Like iced tea and lemonade. You mix it together, it still tastes good. But people just act like you can't, like, you need to be on go all the time. And that's why so many people burn out. Because they're not moving at their pace, they're moving at somebody else's pace.
Totally. Okay, so a question from the audience. Dorian Jeremiah says, what helps determine haircut price? Is it your experience level, shop rent, personal preference?
I think it's a combination, but it's never personal preference, right? I think it's a combination. You do have overhead, so numbers have to make sense. But what drives price is demand. If there is a demand for your product, then you can charge more money. If there is not, then you can't. Right? So it's like it's almost like real estate, right? It's like if there's 10 bidders on this house, you're gonna pay more. If nobody wants it, you can ask for a discount. Right? It's very simple supply and demand principle. It doesn't matter which business you're in. This is why I tell people, you go where people already have, like I tell all my barbers, you go find a shop where clients are already going. Don't try to start nothing brand new. You have to go build a market for something before you launch anything. I think we do this a lot of times with like beauty products. Oh, I want my own product line. Did the market ask for your own product line? If it didn't, now you're trying to convince people to buy it that they don't want it. I'd rather just take what they want, get that wholesale and sell it to them. They already want it anyway.
Yeah, and you don't have to deal with it.
Margin. Yeah, I don't have to deal with it. People ask me all the time, Sam, why you ain't come up with your own product line? I'm like, if I can get good margins on this product and have a great relationship with the owner, and I believe give me that. People already want it. It already sells. You know?
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of times and then here's what I do too. I use a formula, right? When I'm determining price, when I'm just starting out, I go to the annual household income for that zip code that the shop is in. So let's just say if I go in the zip code I'm currently in, and the annual household income is $80,000. I take the 80 from the 80,000, right? Because it's annual. And then I usually do 40% of that, which is like $35. So as long as that range, I'm cool. If the income household range is 120, right? 40% of that is about $50. If the income range is 200, I could build a luxury salon in that space and get about 65 to 80, right? So that's the formula I always use. It works, right? So it's just, when I say 120,000, I'm not saying 40% of 120,000.
Right.
I'm saying 40% of 120.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So people are like, "Oh, that's bad math." I'm like, "All right, now, okay." I left out
I
a
got
key.
you.
You know what I mean? But if you say 100,000, I'm taking the 100,
Right.
and then I'm saying 40% of that, which is $40.
The book of Aaron.
That's a good starting point. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. I love that equation because, like, there aren't a lot of folks that give people an exact math. Book of Aaron says your location matters. Where I live is rural and very low income area. So to your point, you know,
I agree with that, because imagine this, right? Say the income is $30,000 in that area. If you go over there asking them people to pay you $60, they're gonna think you're a crook. They're gonna think you're scamming them. They're gonna think you're getting over. But if you go in parts of California where it's the poverty line is 150, right? They're gonna think $25 is a joke.
yeah.
So the income area matters, right? It matters. So I always tell people, just check the zip code and then take the first number. If it's 150,000, we're doing 150, not 150K. 150, and then do 40% of that. And I think you can start there. Then if you build demand allows you to dictate, right? You can't make demands until you're in demand.
Right.
Once you get there, then you do what's necessary.
That's good. I like that. Math for the starter. Book of Aaron continues to say, when I moved to this town 5 years ago, haircuts were $14. And then he says, thank you. Thanks for talking and contributing. We got Graham Sosa. Really wish I had the opportunity to go to your school.
Yeah, well, where's he at? Where's that at?
Where are you? Where are you at, Graham Sosa? Okay, so while we're waiting on that, let's go through and do a couple more questions here. Let's see. All right, focus, mentorship, and the long game. Let's see. How does mentorship and community actually help when someone is serious about improving and not just networking? I think that question in general is kind of like a general question about mentorship and community. Like, what role does that play in success?
So I believe mentorship is key, but you have to pick the right mentor. Everybody that says they're a mentor is not, right? But also everybody who thinks they want a mentor isn't ready, right? So I've ran into this issue, and I put it in three things, right? So some people think they want a mentor, right? But some people need a counselor. If you have problems that you're trying to heal from, you don't need a mentor, you need a counselor, right? If you want somebody who's going to just support you and kind of walk alongside you and maybe give advice here and there, that's a mentor, right? But then you also, if you are ready for results and you really want to be a high performer, what you need is a coach, right? Coaches are high performance people, but you have to be ready for that because they're not going to listen to your excuses. Your mentor might, right? Because he just want to support you. He want to, just be a little like service guy. But most people, what they really want is a high performance coach, or they want a counselor. Mentor is just the in between. But I do recommend getting some form of leadership to help hold you accountable, right? And if that's in the form of a mentor, or if that's in the form of a coach, you do need them people because they can see things that you can't see. And they'll also help you stay out of your own head. Sometimes the worst thing we can do is listen to ourselves, especially if we have defeated dialogue or we talk to people we shouldn't be talking to about our ideas and our commitments and stuff. So you want to find somebody who's further along in the journey than you are. Now, if you're on step 2, you don't need a mentor who's on step 10. You can find somebody on step 3 or 4, and they can help get you to that level. I think a lot of times, right, because I have people, they'll call me like, Will, I want you to mentor me. And I'm like, I'm trying to help shop owners. I can't really help the guy in Texas or Canada who's trying to figure out if barbering is the right way to go or not. You understand what I'm saying?
Totally,
You
yeah.
can find somebody local there that can help you figure that out. I need to be helping shop owners develop as leaders. So these barbers I'm putting out of school have a quality environment to go into. You know what I'm saying? So it's different levels to it. And I think people, they reach 6, 7 levels ahead of where they currently are. And then nobody wants to mentor them because when you're on level 9, 10, you need to be helping the 7s, 8s, and 9s, not the 1, 2s, and 3s. And it's not a disrespectful thing. It's just respect the game enough to find somebody further along than you and not way beyond for you. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's pretty good. I actually like that. I've never heard one say that, but it makes sense. It's kind of like there's like a whole like a stepping stone and a ladder kind of thing. It's like, yeah, get the advice that is relevant to you and get the mentor that's relevant to you, and then graduate and then into another mentor. I like that.
exactly. Yeah.
Mitchell Champ says, Will is a true mentor of the game. What are some things that a new shop owner should expect when trying to hire barbers? And also what not to look for?
All right. What not to look for? The first thing I do look for is character. I can train skill, but I can't. If your mama ain't get you no good character, she ain't instill good character in you. It ain't really much I can do with you, right? I got to be able to trust you. We're gonna do business. I got to believe in your character before anything else. Now, what are some new things that a new shop owner should expect when trying to hire new barbers? They're all going to come as a project. This is why we need leaders as shop owners. You are going to have to be a great leader if you're going to run a successful shop. Most shop owners run into trouble when they think it's all about cutting hair. You're going to have to develop your people. That's why I said, before you become a shop owner, you need to ask yourself the real question. Am I willing to sacrifice what it takes to help others build? And here's the reality. You may say yes up front, but the first time one of them turns their back on you, you may go back in the dungeon again. You know what I'm saying? So it's what I tell people, entrepreneurship developed my relationship with Christ more than anything. Because that's what real leadership looks like. Knowing people are going to let you down and serving them anyway. So what should you expect? You should expect to invest in barbers. You should expect to serve barbers, and you should expect them to let you down time
Mm,
and time. And you
so
need
good.
to move with the mindset of I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, and everything will work out, because it will. It's the only way you'll be able to really succeed in the game. Develop you some systems that holds people accountable, right? But also, there's three major things that I think you'll need to be a successful shop owner. You're gonna need a system for generating leads, because if you don't have barbers cutting hair, they're gonna be cussing you out. The second thing you need is a recruiting plan, whether that's getting active in one of the schools local by you, or developing some sort of community meetup amongst barbers, or something to get into the presence of barbers and build some sort of influence, right? And then the third thing you're going to need to do is be committed to growing as a leader. Get involved in some sort of leadership book club, read some books on leadership, get involved in some capacity in growing as a leader, because that is the only thing. Those are the three pillars that will make you a successful shop owner.
Good. I love that. That's so good. And this is anybody else in the audience have any questions? Please feel free to drop them. We're coming up on our time soon, so I'm gonna go give people a chance to like ask a question. I'm gonna ask. Let's ask one more of these questions here before we sign off. What is one myth? I mean, I feel like some of these questions you've already answered. What is, yeah, I mean, this is kind of like, what trade-off do people need to be honest about if they want long-term success? I feel like you kind of talked about it a little bit.
Sacrifice, yeah.
Yeah, the sacrifice. What is one habit or mindset that consistently pays off over time? And I mean, the financial stuff, but you got anything else?
You gotta give up to go up. A
Okay,
lot of times
nice.
we want to add. We constantly want to add. You have to give up your old life if you want your new life. The things that you do now got you to where you are. If you want something different, you're gonna have to give up the way you think about it. When I went to open up the school, I had to give up a six-figure clientele as a barber for the opportunity to go invest in the next generation of barbers and not know if it would work out or not. People told me, don't open up a barber school. Go to the beautician side. They make more money over there. Barber schools are trash. Nobody goes to barber school no more. They can learn everything on YouTube. If I listen to those people, ProFresh Barber Academy is in one of the top schools in the world today. Right? So you're going to have to give up something to get something else. The question always is it worth it? It's the law of trade-offs. You're going to always make trades in life. You're going to give up this for that. Some people give up family time to build a career. Some people give up growing in their career to spend more time with family. None of it is wrong, right? It's just you designing your life how you want it. It'll always be criticized. Somebody always has something to say. You have to be comfortable with the man in the mirror and make those decisions. But you have to give up if you want to go up. Can't be the same person you are today and want to be a better person tomorrow. You have to give some things up, right? It's like, look, I want to get in shape. I can't eat like I used to eat, right? I got to wake up earlier than I want to wake up. I got to go to the gym. Anytime you want to grow in a certain area, it's going to require sacrifice and the ability to give up something first before you get it. One of my mentors told me a long time ago, he said, well, the price for success has to be paid up front in full before you actually get it. It ain't no shortcuts to success, and it ain't no discounts. It demands full payment.
Is this how you communicate with your students? I mean, I'm assuming your students trend younger, and we go to schools a lot and talk in this area and talk to students, and this kind of language seems to like certain words seem to like really turn them off from listening to me.
Yeah.
So like, do you have like, what do you like? What do you have? We have a couple more questions from the audience, but I
Mhm.
just was curious to know what your thoughts were or how you would respond to that.
So I do talk to my students like this. I do. They just know that I care first. I always ask them what's important to them, right? Because I can't hold people accountable until they know I'm for them, right? You have to be for people. And the way I teach them, pour into them, when I go on like little rants and stuff like this, that's what they love the most.
Oh, nice.
So they're like, nobody ever says this type of stuff. This is the real. Like I could tell them, hey, come on, y'all, let's get into chemistry, right? We can get into chemistry there. We'll go to chemistry. They're like, ah. Oh. I'm like, y'all want to talk business today? They're like, yes, I always want to talk business. Like that's all they want to talk about. You know what I mean? Is the mindset stuff and this stuff and that. Because they get, like, especially when we're in the information era. They can ask Chat GPT stats all day long, but they want real personalized, the rawness I think people enjoy about me, even online. People are like, yo, you're very transparent. I feel you when you talk, right? And maybe that's a gift from God. I don't think I've developed any of that. It's just I've really done the work for 19 years. And everything I speak on, I've actually done. I don't speak on things that I don't know about. It doesn't serve me in any way to try to act like I'm somebody I'm not. I've done the work, man, and they know that, they feel that, they see that, and I think it allows people to respect you before you even open your mouth. I think one of the things I've learned over the years is like when who you are says so much, you don't have to say anything, right? So it's like even when I do speak, it's like, to them, it's they love it, man. They enjoy it, man. I have an incredible culture at the school, man, and I thank them guys every day, and the ladies too, that they allow me to lead them. You know what I mean? And they know I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna make sure they're straight, and they
That's
know that.
awesome. That's awesome. All right. The Book of Aaron says the current owner. So Book of
Mhm.
Aaron had taken over a salon or a barbershop, and the current owner has owned the shop since 1961 and does nothing but walk-ins, and it's clashing with doing appointments. What is your suggestion?
Okay, so the current owner has owned the shop since 1961 and does nothing but walk-ins and is clashing with doing appointments. Who's the shop owner? All right. Because if they're the shop owner and that's how they run the business, out of respect, you have to do it their way, right? Imagine if I come in your house and put my family picture on the wall. How would you feel? If
Oh
he's
wow,
paid,
yeah.
if he's paid the price to be the owner, that has to be respected. Now, in your own respect, you don't have to work there. But to think you're going to make him change when that's what he's had success in is probably not going to be easy and not work and cause unnecessary friction.
Well, I think he
Right?
said earlier. He said he inherited the shop. Uh,
Oh, so he owns the shop.
well, it says in transition from taking over a shop that has very old clientele and trying to incorporate a new generation. The
Mm-hmm.
current owner has had yeah, and he said there was another one he said earlier. He's in Missouri. Let's see, where is it? The shop I'm inheriting was established in 1961. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's all
So,
that information.
okay. So is he still there? Because if the old owner is still there and the complete buyout hasn't taken place yet, it's going to be hard because he still has influence, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to just wait that out. And then once he fully retires and moves on, then you implement things your way and you have every right to do so. But to think you're going to implement things your way when you just took over and he's been there since that long ago, that system is in the fabric and everything in there. You're not going to just watch that overnight and get it out. That's just in the mentality. That's the clientele you bought. And I would even tell you this, when you bought that, right? And he has that much influence, and that's how those customers expect to be treated. You bought those clients with that expectation. So trying to change it this fast, I don't think is a wise decision. I would exercise patience And over time, as you grow the clientele with the new generation, I think you'll be able to implement those things. But trying to get people that are that seasoned to conform, I think is going to cause you more headache than it is actually production.
Is there a friction like with between walk-ins and appointments? Like if like if the walk-in, I guess the walk-in customers might be like, "What do you mean I need to make an appointment? I can't just walk in." Like, how would you handle that transition?
Well, honesty, right? Communication is to say, hey, I know this is how we've done things for the last 40 plus years here, but I have taken over ownership and I'm leading us into a more modern system. And it's very simple, very easy. I'll show you how to use it. I think it benefits you long term, or is that something you're open to?
What
If
about
they
like,
say, that's what I
sorry,
would say. That's what I would say to the customer. If they're like no, then I'll be like, well, why not?
well, what if
What
you
if
wanted
not?
to
Yeah.
keep, sorry, what if you wanted to keep some walk-in
Mhm.
appointments available? Like, would you consider like maybe leaving like certain times open, or that might
Yeah,
be, I
yeah.
guess that could have a downside of you not being busy.
Yeah, I do that. I do that now. Like I always tell people, walk-ins are always welcome, but appointments will be preferred. So if you
Okay.
don't mind waiting, then you can walk in, right?
Okay.
But appointments do take priority. So I'm not saying you have to do it our way. I'm just saying they are going to be priority if they have an appointment. So I don't
Gotcha.
want you to be, misled thinking that you've been here waiting and that's what it is. But we'll do our best to service you, in which you're comfortable with. But we are taking a more modern day approach. But if we still value you, we still want you here, and we'll do our best to make sure you fit in. The
Right.
blend is always the best side because I have over like 40 walk-ins come in my shop a week, right? About 25 newbies and 20 returns as far as, just shop clients and at all locations. And that's what we do. We do appointments and they take priority. But we're not going to turn you away because you walked in. Every generation is different, and we have to be conscious of that and do our best to service everybody. But I always think being able to communicate clearly and being honest with people up front and don't leave them in the dark and act like you don't see them and walk off and act like you're on the phone. Don't do all that goofiness. Just go straight to them with a courteous approach. Be respectful and make sure you tell them that you value them, but you are evolving as a business. And most of them understand it.
Nice. I love this. This is so good. I know we're at our time. Are you cool with one more question from the
Yeah,
audience?
I got a little
All right.
time.
I got Mitchell Champ says, would you say professionalism is on the decline in the barber world, dress code wise, socially, etc.?
Yes, but I think it's not hard to change it. We just need our leaders to. People who have influence and people who are the leaders, if they change it, then I think we can change the direction. But if we don't speak to it and we don't value it, then I think it becomes a growing trend where people just don't care, right? But we need our people who are our leaders to lead the way. That's why I think leadership is the most important. If our leaders lead that way, we'll follow that. Because the game in every industry is always about the influencers. It's always been about them. It always has been. It's like the NFL team, the quarterback, how they operate, how the rest of the team operate. The best player on the team. The leaders in our industry, if they dress it up, I think we'll see more people dressing up. Because people do what people who influence them do. It's the same in every industry. It's like your kids, right? You dress a certain way, guess what? Your kid's gonna dress a certain way. When it comes to leadership, more is caught than taught. Right? We have to be the example we want to see. And if we can get more people to take the initiative to just dress it up and respond like a true professional, the more we'll see it. The more we promote it, the more you'll see it.
I love it. I love it. This has been such a pleasure, Will.
Yeah.
Like, just give everybody a context. I just hit you up, Will, and I was like talking to you, and you were so cool to like come on and do this with us, and it's been such a pleasure. I feel like you brought a lot of value to the audience, and like you always do. And so, thank you so much for coming on. and doing this with me tonight. And I hope to do something again with you in the future.
Sure thing, man. I appreciate you having me on. Like I said, people hit me up and I'm just like, hey, if I got time, I try to make time. At the end of the day, man, I'm here for the people. And, whatever that consists of at the time and whatever I have availability for, I try to make it work. I try not to waste my time. So make sure you know how you address me and reach in my DM and all that. I'm not into the goofy business, right? I may tell you get a couple episodes under your belt, right? Before I hop on. But it's with respect. It's not, I'm ignoring you or nothing like that. It's just, my time is valuable. I have a lot going on, but I definitely appreciate you having me on, man. You had great questions when you told me some of the questions you wanted to ask. So that made me excited. And I just tell people, man, if you want people to get on with you, man, just be prepared. Do the work on your end. Some people just winging it sometimes. I'm like, I don't have time for that. So I thank you, man. I hope everybody on the live got value. And like I said, I'm excited to move forward. If you are in the Atlanta, Georgia marketplace, I want you to check out my school, ProFresh Barber Academy. If you're looking to grow as a barber and become a licensed professional in the state of Georgia. And if you're just trying to come and get some more business insight and things of that nature, I'll be speaking. My first speaking engagement this year is January 25th right here in Atlanta, Georgia at the Barber Commissioners event, where we'll be going over structure, systems, and how to scale and grow your business effectively, because growth comes with trauma, right? And you got to be structured and you got to have systems so you can withstand the trauma that comes with growth. Growth sounds sexy, but oftentimes, right, it comes with some struggle. And if you skip steps and you don't have structure and systems in place, it could collapse on you. And that's the part that people don't talk about enough. So if you're out here in Atlanta or you're driving distance, come on out January 25th.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And definitely check out your book. Tell us the name of it. You got it right there. Show us again.
What's in Your Hand by Will Stamm. It's on Amazon. It's $20. If you ever see me in public, I will sign it. Right?
Nice.
And we've sold about 940 copies. And I launched it on January 23rd, so we need 60 more to hit my goal of 1,000. Even if we don't hit it, man, the fact that I'm that close is just
that's awesome, dude.
It's just a phenomenal accomplishment, man. You know what I mean? And the fact that, I've been able to sell that many, man, is just, it's really been surreal, because I'm a talker. I'm not a writer, but I worked with my team and we put it together, and it's a project that I'm super proud that I actually took the time to do the work and actually do it. I challenged myself in that way. And everybody who's read it said it's been phenomenal. It's really inspired them, really helped them. So if you're looking for, a little motivation and some inspiration and some guidance on how to actually get it done as a barber, I suggest you pick up What's in Your Hand.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure and an honor. And thank you to our audience. And I'll see you hopefully again in the near future.
Sure thing, man. Just send me a message, man. I'll keep you updated.
Awesome.
And as always, man, have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
It says it's downloading.